Call the meeting to order. We have a quorum with all board members present. This time we'll do the discussion of our March 22nd regular board meeting agenda items. Dr. Randall?
The first item, Mr. President, is consider approval of out-of-state student trip requests for Foster High School speech and debate team to attend the 2018 National Speech and Debate Tournament in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
I have a question, but, excuse me.
Quick question.
It's gonna relate to some of the other ones as to why the district is funding some of the trips.
Yeah, I can take, that was the Foster High School. This one says the district where funds will be used to cover the cost of past years, and then you go over to George Ranch, and it says expenses will be paid for by fundraising. Is that the question you have?
Yes.
Why the difference in those two?
Mm-hmm.
The funding will vary based upon what they have in their budget. If Foster elected, when they have their budget to fund for that particular trip, they have budget money. George Ranch, one of the things they do is they host a large speech and debate tournament each year, and that's a big fundraiser. So this particular trip, they're going to fund out of their fundraising and out of their activity account. And they do it various ways, and they all kind of participate in the speech and debate fundraisers.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
The next item is Terry High School's Theater Department traveling to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I guess I should have mentioned Foster, Fulshire, and George Ranch as well. Next item is George Ranch Speech and Debate traveled to Washington, D.C. to compete in the National Forensic League Speech and Debate Tournament. The next item is George Ranch and Lamar Consolidated High School, DECA, to travel to Atlanta, Georgia. The next item, we're asking that the Board of Trustees approve the submission of an expedited waiver application to allow the district to dedicate 2,100 operational minutes to staff development activities in lieu of instructional time during the 2018-2019 school year, and this is similar to what we've done in the past.
Okay, so there's nothing different then. Okay.
I have a
Your
question.
Yeah.
It says that this will be for this year only. Can you explain what their plans are for the following year?
Yes, ma'am. They are looking at discontinuing the waiver in the current format because of the conversion over to the 75,600 minute rule. Mm-hmm. And this allows us as a district and other districts in our same situation to adjust our calendar accordingly and plan for the 1920 school year.
How will they, well, I'm getting ahead of myself for the following year, so I guess I better just wait.
Yeah, we'll come back to that discussion this time next year.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next item is we ask the Board to consider approval of budget amendment request. The next item, we ask the Board of Trustees to ratify the financial investment reports. The next item, we ask that the Board of Trustees approve the bid by Fort Bend County for $50 to acquire the one tax resale property. The next item, we ask the Board of Trustees to approve the 2018 historic site exemption qualifications for George Ranch Historical Park. The next item, we ask the Board to approve the 2018 historic site exemption qualifications for the Symington School.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Has anything changed since last year's request and the prior year?
You said they're consistent.
Technically, no. However, the way the CAD, the Fort Bend Central Appraisal District, reports the property, this is the 80% residential piece only. So this is not the business, this is just the residential portion.
mean, last year they asked for the whole thing.
I
Yeah.
believe it included the photography studio fees.
And so this would be a tax exemption for a historical site for a...
Personal residence.
A personal residence. Okay, thank you.
Because it was once designated as a school. Yeah,
Correct.
so- Okay. Is there a marker on this?
Thank you.
Next item, we ask the board to approve resolution proclaiming April 23rd through 27th as Education Administrative Professional Week. Next item, we ask the board to approve the resolution proclaiming the week of April 8th through 14th as Librarians Week. The next item, we ask that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution proclaiming the week of April 16th through 20th as Public School Volunteer Appreciation Week. The next item, we ask that the board approve the Superintendent SMART Goals for 2018-2019. This is the results of the board workshop that was facilitated by the Holdsworth Group.
I have a question. Will our evaluation of the superintendent change to fit this format rather than the one that we've seen in the past?
Yes.
The next item, we ask the Board of Trustees to approve CenterPoint Energy gas development fees for the natatorium at Foster High School and approve the payment in the amount of $7,240. The next item, we ask the board to approve CenterPoint Energy gas development fees for the natatorium at George Ranch High School and approve the payment in the amount of $9,085. The next item, we ask the board to approve Dramala Construction Company for the construction of Culver Elementary School in the amount of $19,502,400 and authorize the board president to sign the agreement.
What was the construction budget on that?
I'm going to go off a brief memory. We are about, I don't have the exact number, but I know we're about $250,000 under the construction budget
Okay.
with this award.
It was good to see that we had that number of people bidding and the number
Yeah.
of bids we got, and
A lot of bids on it, so the interest is there. So
that's good.
Who does who gives them the point totals for the different categories?
we have the architect is one reviewer, the program manager is one reviewer, and then there's 3 district staff that are reviewers. And then we combine those to get to this summary total.
Who's the district staff on this?
Kevin McKeever, James Carrillo, and Paul Katowski.
The next item, we ask the board to approve Dramala Construction Company for the construction of Fulshire High School's shell space in the amount of $1,417,700 and authorize the board president to sign the agreement. The next item is we ask that the board approve the second interlocal agreement with Fort Bend County MUD number 5 in the amount not to exceed $100,000 for road access at Culver Elementary School and authorize the board president to execute the agreement. The next item, we ask that the board approve a facility use agreement with the American Red Cross for the use of George Ranch High School, George Junior High, Fulshire High, Lamar Junior High, Lamar Consolidated High, and Terry High School so the Red Cross can use the facilities during a disaster.
I hope we never use it.
Well,
Again.
I do want to make a note, though. One of the things that we really need to consider is that whenever we go into an agreement like this, if I'm correct, that would designate the American Red Cross to open those shelters, which would probably mean that any of our local residents would be sent out even further. So, for example, had it happened during Harvey, we would have gotten a lot of evacuees from probably the cities that are near Galveston, you know, things like that that were flooding. And if we needed it, it would send our residents in Fort Bend County, it would send us further out to other shelters. Just, we need to keep that in mind when we're making this decision. Does that make sense?
No?
So because the Red Cross has the agreement to open those shelters,
Right.
what they're going to do is they're going to bus, let's say, for example, Dickinson, what they would do is they would bus all of those residents, the evacuees, to the local shelters in our area. And if, once our residents needed somewhere to stay, like a shelter or anything like that, they would then take our residents in Fort Bend County and they would bus them out further. Something that we need to keep in mind, perhaps something that we need to look into before Thursday's decision.
Well, I didn't see that during
Well,
the last big event.
but during the last one that we had, we didn't have this agreement. We went into, we made those decisions, am I correct, Dr. Randall? We made those decisions based on the need once Red Cross contacted us, but we didn't have the agreement per se.
Not,
Kevin?
there wasn't agreement. There was,
Well, we'll let Mr.
Well, we do have an agreement, and we've had an agreement in the past with the Red Cross, but we don't open any of the shelters without the Fort Bend County EOC first, and the Red Cross working with them. And so it wouldn't be just us going to the Red Cross.
Right.
We would go through the Fort Bend County EOC.
Right. I just think that it's something that we need to find out before Thursday's meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Is for sure, that's true. That's what I was told at the last, the shelter that we had in Fulshire, was that had that been available initially, then if it ever came to the point where our residents, our Fort Bend County residents, needed somewhere to go, we would be sent out further to another shelter. Does that make sense?
I will ask that question.
Okay.
it may be what they said, but it doesn't make sense, but I'll.
I know that.
You're
We'll-
saying
we'll-
that if that shelter was full, our local residents would not be, they would have to be bused somewhere else?
This is like 1, 2,
Correct.
3, 4,
Correct.
5,
And hopefully we
6.
will never need it. I think it's just something that we need to know prior to Thursday's decision.
Well, I know what Sienna Plantation.
Normally, we're a
does.
pass-through county, so.
Yes. And you need to explain that, Kevin, just a little bit.
In the past, the way the county handles our Red Cross shelters or any of our shelters, our county is treated as a pass-through county. So all of the coastal counties and everybody, they generally go past until the event is here or after the event. And then they start opening up shelters in our area. But that's how it's happened in the past.
And then weren't all of them moved to, they were all moved to Georgia?
Thank you.
The next item is that the board approve micro-integrations for installation of technology systems at the maintenance and operation building in the amount of $53,587. The next item, we actually have a presentation. We're asking the board to approve United Healthcare as the group medical plan administrator and stop-loss carrier, and Optimum as pharmacy benefit managers.
Good evening. I'm Burke Sunday with Gallagher Benefits. We're the district's consultant. We work with the district to develop and work on RFP number 08-2018 RL for plan administration, stop-loss insurance, and pharmacy benefit manager. The district received 9 responses in various shapes, forms in those categories. We presented the information to the Finance Committee at the last meeting, and we recommended that 4 respondents be looked at for a best and final offer situation. So the selection was based on cost projections as well as the services that were provided or indicated in their response to the RFP. The results of these evaluations directed Gallagher and the district to request best and final offers from the following three respondents: United Healthcare for plan administration, stop-loss insurance, and pharmacy benefit manager; Aetna for plan administration, stop-loss insurance, and pharmacy benefit manager. And then there was a standalone pharmacy benefit manager, Express Scripts, that we recommended be included in the best and final round. The best and final responses were reviewed by the Gallagher team, as well as our internal Gallagher pharmacy analytics team for details as well as financials. And a scoring matrix and evaluation was used as an evaluation of the responses that were received. Both United Healthcare and OptumRx, as well as Aetna, improved their responses during the best and final round. It is the recommendation of Gallagher that the district accept the best and final response from United Healthcare for plan administration and stop-loss, and from Optum for pharmacy benefit manager. The rationale behind the decision or the recommendation is that there will be no disruption with respect to the district in terms of administration of the medical and pharmacy plan, as well as no disruption to the member experience, both the employees and their dependents. Another reason, as far as the rationale, that the rates that were provided by United Healthcare for the stop-loss insurance, which is a very important component of the overall financing of the plan, were firm rates. There were no contingencies. There were no codicils to the proposal. It was a clean, firm rate proposal for both individual as well as aggregate stop-loss insurance for the district. And finally, there would be no pharmacy disruption by accepting the response from OptumRx. Disruption takes the form of three areas. One, either an improvement in what a participant pays with respect to the copay; a negative, which would be a change to a higher copay, a drug going from one copay to a higher copay; and then finally exclusions, where drugs would be excluded from that particular pharmacy benefit manager's formulary. And so all three of those components, and then finally the cost as well. The recommendation is based on a weighted criteria, the perfect score being 100 points. The evaluation matrix comprised of three following components: cost 35%, reputation, quality of services, and the ability of the proposer to meet the services and needs of the district as outlined in the request for proposal. That was weighted at 60%. And then if any of the providers had a past relationship with the district, that was the top score would be 5%. In the cost components, the initial purchase price was weighted at 35%, long-term cost to the district 10%. The four key elements that were analyzed were the claims administration fees and other services related in plan administration, stop-loss rates, again, both individual and aggregate, the medical claims discounts that were being presented by the vendors, and then finally rebates from the pharmacy benefit manager and any associated fees and costs with that as well. In these four key elements, Aetna scored the highest with respect to plan administration costs in their favor to the extent of about $94,000. The spend annually is around $1.7 million for plan administration, so the $94,000 was a small percentage of the overall spend. Stop-loss rates, Aetna, again, in the best and final offer, prevailed to the tune of about $386,000. Their rates, however, were contingent upon receiving data, claims information through May the 31st of 2018. We have become aware of several claimants that will result in a very large claims to the district as well as to the plan between now and the end of this plan year and perhaps well into the 2018-2019 plan year. So the 386 that is in the favor of Aetna right now on paper could easily be reduced significantly. In fact, It could be reduced entirely and result in actually United Healthcare's stop-loss rates, which are firm, actually become the best situation. From a prescription, medical discounts, this is really kind of a moving target, and so we relied on third-party data, the Uniform Data Submission entity that receives data from Blue Cross, Aetna, United, Cigna, and other carriers throughout the country. And they analyze inpatient discounts, outpatient discounts, ambulatory surgical, professional fees, and so forth. On paper, Aetna had an advantage of about $596,000. In quantifying this number, there's a margin of error of a plus or minus 2%. So the 596 could go to zero, or it could be 1.2 million. The only way that we will know with 100% certainty is once we get a year down the road and see the actual data, claims data flow through the system. So this is somewhat of a variable number. It's not a hard dollar number. From a prescription benefit manager standpoint, OptumRx presented an advantage of the tune of about $374,000 on an annual basis. So when we take a look at all of the numbers that I've just outlined, there was about a $700,000 advantage, net advantage to Aetna, of which again about $386,000 was soft numbers. So the $703,000 advantage to Aetna represented just a slightly over 2% of the projected total spend in the 2018-2019 plan year. Other factors that we took into consideration in making this recommendation again would be the disruption to the district in general as well as to the member experience, the associated costs in making this change both internally and externally. United Healthcare's stop-loss rates was a very important component of the overall financial integrity of this plan. Our firm, and even though they are, as the incumbent plan administrator and stop-loss carrier, they are keenly aware of these developing medical situations, but their rates are firm. There are a couple other items. Aetna had some stopgap information in their proposal, in their best and final, that if a large claim on a particular individual exceeded a certain level, or if the group claims that will be incurred prior to the plan year ending of 8/31 but would roll into the next plan year, they put a limit on that as well. So when it's all said and done, there is no clear daylight, no distinguishable advantage of making this change. So as such, we are recommending to the district that you accept the best and final offer from United Healthcare for plan administration, stop-loss insurance, and for pharmacy benefit manager. If you'll look at there is a scoring matrix in your board handout. You can see that United and Optum scored 99 points out of 100, and Aetna scored 96. It was a very close and spirited battle between these two players, and in fact, really at the end of the day, the district is definitely a winner. The RFP process went very smoothly. We had a response from all of the legacy carriers, some very interesting opportunities for the district going forward. But again, it is our opinion and recommendation that United Healthcare be awarded the contract for the 2018-2019 plan year. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Do we have an example of an average price difference between the two for the average family or the average employee? No.
I should ask some premium questions. So, if I can. So one of the things that we look at is the premiums once the plan is approved, once the vendor is approved, we then develop the plans and we'll work based off of our existing plans. We set our own premiums to then we estimate, we know what the fixed costs are going to be, obviously, and then we estimate what the claims costs are going to be. So we build the plans.
So you do have control over the prices not exceeding a certain amount?
Correct.
More? Okay.
We have aggregate stop-loss insurance that defines what the district's maximum financial exposure on the claim side. As Dr. Bowen indicated, we know what the fixed costs are, what it's going to cost to administer the plan, and what we're going to have to pay to buy the insurance that protects the overall financial integrity of the plan. In simple response, again, because of the very closeness of these two respondents on the best and final, there wouldn't be probably less than 1% difference in the rates that we would fix, and I say fix, that we would develop to fund to a certain financial obligation.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, we're asking the board to adopt a 2018-19 employee report end date schedule as presented and approve begin and end dates for job titles as indicated in the tables.
Before we get into the information items, do we have any audience patrons?
There are none, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Dr. Randall?
We are indicating, as we have done for the last several years, those campuses that will be, there will be a freeze on any type of new intra-district or intra-district transfer requests. At the elementary level, it's Adolphus, Arredondo, Bowie, Hubernack, Huggins, Long, McNeil, Meyer, Ray, Thomas, and Travis Elementary Schools. And the secondary is Polly Ryan, Reading, and George Ranch High School. You will get the quarterly update, the DIP, on Thursday, as well as the climate survey. If you have any questions on the tax collection report, or the payments for construction projects, (2014) bond, available funds, transportation update, and we'll be providing the next update in just a few minutes.
With that, we will go into closed session, adjournment closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082 of the Open Meetings Act.
6:58.
Thank you, ma'am. At 8:21, and I don't believe there's any more business to bring forward this evening. So this meeting also stands adjourned at 8:21.
Yay.
Thank you all very much.